Hello friends, the day has finally arrived and we are finally here doing this video. Yes, I'm sure you clicked on it because of the title of this video. This has been long in the making. Today is the day that we're finally gonna do this. We're just gonna talk about it. I've had so many comments throughout the years in regards to this video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, which I'm sure you do because of the title of the video, this is going to be about scent sensitivity. I made a video several years ago and a lot of people have commented on that video about this struggle, and I actually went on YouTube doing a little bit of research, and there's actually not a whole lot on this topic. There are some videos, but there's not a whole lot that's regarding this topic. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, know how difficult it can be having this issue, then I can see why you would like to find more videos like this. I do feel like this may turn into maybe a two-part video, maybe a couple more videos, depending on how long it takes for me to talk about this stuff, because I do have a list. I've put it on my phone of things that I thought about, because there are so many things, and there may be things that you may not have even thought about because it took me a while to figure it out. So let's just go ahead and get right into talking about this, since that's what we're here to talk about. I feel like sometimes it may be hard to talk about this topic because there's not really much people to talk about it with. That's how I feel personally. I feel like in my personal life, I don't know very many people. Actually, I don't even know a handful of people that suffer with this issue. And yes, I do feel it is an issue, because people like me who suffer with scent sensitivity will love to be able to just buy the beautiful candle we see that smells so good, or I would like to just be able to use certain things and not have to worry about how potent and how strong the scent is. I want to be able to just use it and not have an issue. What really got me into talking more about this topic is I saw a lot of people in the comments who would say like, oh my goodness, like my family thinks I'm just being crazy, or people think I'm just exaggerating or being overly sensitive, or they look at me like I'm crazy. Because at the end of the day, like most people don't suffer with this issue and they just think that you're just being a little, extra, and you're really not. I have gotten to the point where I have let the people around me know about this, especially people who I am closer with, because it can make things hard in so many different areas. For example, like there was a weekend where I went to go spend with one of my friends, and she loves lighting candles. She loves Bath and Body Works, and if you saw my previous video, which I will link it, whichever side it's on, I think it's here, but then I remember it's like here, whichever side it's on, I will link it. And I talked about like candles, how I used to love buying Bath and Body Works candles and wallflowers, and she loves this stuff. And I literally had to tell her, like, I'm really sorry, but I can't like handle too much of a strong scent. So I literally had to ask her to please turn off your candles and unplug all these things, because otherwise I would have been like in a nightmare, literally. And for people who are respectful, and like my friend, she's super sweet, so she was like, of course, but sometimes I know that can be difficult. So I was thinking about how to structure the video and how to talk about this topic, and I came up with like 3 different little areas. So in my notes, I have the topic of like things to consider, what helps me, and also like recommendations. So I may be breaking up the video into these 3 different categories. If you just like stick with me and follow me with these videos, you will see them come up. But to go off my very first video on this, I really focused in on scent, as far as like perfumes and what you wear. And in that video, I showed like the different perfumes that I like and body sprays that I could actually use, and it doesn't give me a headache, because that's like the main thing, is that I get headaches and I have this groggy feeling. It's almost like you have allergies, and it's just like almost like that migraine, and it just is like the worst feeling, so uncomfortable, and it just really, really sucks. So for now, I want to just talk about bringing awareness of things that can trigger your sensitivity to scents. And there may be some people, maybe some of you will watch this video, who never realize why you feel the way you feel, and you never may have realized that you have I would guess maybe you can call it an allergy to scents, because allergies are a real thing, and I suffer with like other allergies besides scent sensitivity. And so sometimes people may not even realize what is triggering their migraines or headaches or just grogginess or just feeling like you have a head, like your sinuses or any of that stuff. And so there are quite a few things that can actually cause this. So really what kind of like triggered me into really like digging into this and like trying to figure out what's going on with myself was I started noticing when I used certain perfumes, and that's why I did that video. When I used certain perfumes, it was so strong and it smelled great, but then I noticed, oh my gosh, I'm getting a headache. And that's how I started. I started like testing it out. Like, okay, every time I wear this, I get a headache. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, this one works for me. No, this doesn't work for me. And that's kind of what kind of led me into this whole journey about figuring out why I felt the way I did. Guys, I'm looking at my screen. It already says like 11 minutes. So I'm definitely going to break this up into several videos. We're going to make this work. I have a list of things to consider. This list is to help guide you into trying to figure out what is it that is causing maybe the headaches and the grogginess and that whole feeling I explained to you earlier. Because you may think like, oh, I can wear perfume and it's fine, I don't get like, headaches or anything. But then you're home and you wake up and you just feel this like so much. Because there was a period of time where every time I wake up I just feel like, ugh, it just was not good. And then, besides the fact that I developed other allergies, but this was like some of the things that I have changed in my life personally that has helped me to feel less of those feelings that I get. And sometimes I do get them because of my other allergies, but for the most part, once I have worked on these different areas, I notice a huge difference in how I felt with the migraines and all of that yucky feeling. So let's go through my list. So the first thing I have on my list of things to consider is air fresheners. I know, trust me, air fresheners. Whether it's air fresheners in your car, air fresheners in your house, room sprays, wall plugins, anything that you use to help make your home smell better. Those are some things that you want to consider and look into. For me, what I noticed that has worked the best for me is actually oil diffusers. I got a diffuser and I have a certain oil. I guess I can link the brand for you. It's by Young Living, and I bought a whole kit that had like this whole bunch of different oils for different things. And so I would just put literally like 2 drops and I would use that for my entire home. And I stopped using wallflowers from Bath and Body Works. I stopped lighting candles in my car. I used to buy, the ones that you can hang from your rear view mirror. I stopped using those. The little ones that you put in your air vents, I stopped using those. I used to get the little ones from Bath and Body Works. I stopped every single one of those things because they would trigger me. They're so strong. After a while I realized it and I was like, oh my gosh, like I cannot believe I didn't realize this sooner. I do have one that I use that I would recommend, and I'll share that later on, probably in a second video of the things that I actually use. I'll show you the products that I like, which ones I buy. But yes, I have been using oil diffusers. That's been the one that works the best for me. And sometimes I will use the Gain fabric spray to help the home or help your furniture smell a little better, but not a whole lot. I use just a small portion, not so many sprays, because then of course it triggers the headache. So those are some things in the home, your fresheners, that I would say definitely look at and consider what you're using. The next thing to consider would be cleaning supplies. I know, really, cleaning supplies? Yes, because so many of these cleaning products have a scent. And side note, I have used the the Miss Myers, I think it's called. At my work, they have some hand soap or dish soap actually. And I've used it to wash out my cup at work. And I'm telling you, I do not like it because it is so strong that when I wash my cup out with it, I feel like that smell stays in there. When I put my water in my cup, all I smell is that dish soap. And I'm like, how could this be good for you? I know it's supposed to be a better dish product. I personally do not like it, and I would not recommend using that if you are sensitive to scent. But even if you're not, I just feel like if I'm drinking my water, I shouldn't be tasting the soap in my cup. No matter how much I've rinsed it out, that scent is there. I should not be tasting that scent as I'm drinking my water. But anyways, yes, so back to cleaning supplies. I find that there are some, those all-purpose cleaners, which some of them, my favorite one is the Lysol, because I just don't smell anything really. You have that Lysol scent, but it's not so strong. Bleach can be harsh, but I know bleach is important, and some people love bleach, some people don't, but I think a little doesn't hurt. Using too much bleach sometimes can trigger that headache. Another one for me that I actually had to stop using, and I asked my mom in her house to stop using, is Fabuloso. I know some of you like that for cleaning your floors. Yes, it makes your floors smell amazing, but it is so strong. And I walk in the door and I'm like, oh no, you can't have this. So that is another one. So any cleaning supplies that is fragrant, you need to look at those and see maybe about finishing them out and getting new products that are fragrance free or unscented, because that can also trigger. I know, it's crazy, right? Because you would never think about like, oh, I'm cleaning my house, I'm cleaning this, I'm cleaning that, but yes, you need to consider that. Another thing to remember with the home fragrance is potpourri. Sometimes those are really strong. Anything that's cinnamon, I don't know what it is about cinnamon. I like cinnamon, but to have cinnamon scent in my home, I cannot do. If I have cinnamon and apple, cannot. Nope, no thank you. My sensitivity to that is just like 100%, and it's like a no, don't give it to me. So since we're talking about cleaning supplies, let's just hit the other areas, such as your bath essentials when it comes to your shampoo, your conditioner, your body wash. Yes, these are also things to consider. However, I do feel that most body washes aren't as strong, and I have been able to get away with using almost any body wash, and I haven't really had an issue. Same thing with shampoos, but I haven't used a huge variety of shampoos, so that is something I haven't explored too much. I try to stick to what I like, because also, on a side note, when I switch shampoos like crazy, it gives me dandruff, and so I try to stick to what I know and love, so that way I'm not having to deal with dandruff. But those are also something, so depending on how sensitive you are to scents, I would say consider your body washes, your shampoos, your conditioner, because those can be a factor. Especially with shampoo, it's going onto your scalp, and so when your hair is dry, if you air dry your hair and you're smelling it and you smell the shampoo, that can also like be triggering your sensitivity. Body wash, I feel it doesn't stay as long. Even if it's scented, I feel like it doesn't really linger for too long. So I feel like body wash, you could probably get away with most body washes. Also, when it comes to hair, another thing to consider is your dry shampoos. I have tried some Baptiste dry shampoos, and they have been so strong that I'm like, no way. So you want to consider your dry shampoos, and also deodorant. I know I have switched to a clinical strength unscented, because these traditional deodorants have so much scent that I just cannot. So those are some other things to consider. Next would be our hand soap, dish soap. I feel like most dish soap, the scent usually doesn't linger. I usually just use the original Dawn. There's also a pink one that I really love, and those usually don't smell too much. But hand soaps for washing our hands after you use the bathroom or whatever, like those can be very scented, and I've gotten quite a bit of them from Bath and Body Works in the past, and I stopped using them for quite a while, and I recently, within the last year, started purchasing again from Bath & Body Works, and I found that there are some that actually works for me now. I think because also they've changed their product a bit, and they've added like the shea butter, or now they're adding the essential oil, so I think that kind of helps to not have the scent linger for too long. So within the last, I would say 6 months, I have been using their hand washes. I've used specific ones and I have had no issues, so I'll share that with you guys later on in another video. But I have been loving quite a bit from them, and I have not had any issues so far. The one thing I cannot use though is their hand sanitizers. Probably about 3 or 4 months ago, I purchased, they had a sale where you can get, I think, about 6 of them for, I think, $25 or $30, something like that. I went in and tried to find the most lightly scented hand sanitizer, and I purchased them, tried them out, was a no-go. I still have 2 bottles left, and I just open it and I smell it and I'm like, I just can't. So hand sanitizers are very, very, very scented from Bath & Body Works. There are also others that you can get from other stores, which I feel has a very interesting scent, and also those don't work for me. So I just get the generic, I think it's Germex Original, like that's it. We don't need to get fancy with a hand sanitizer, honestly. So think about that. Your hand sanitizer might be affecting you. Next comes your lotions. Ugh. I know, it's like your whole entire world is just messed up from being able to not use whatever you want, literally. That's how it feels. But lotions as well. So I literally use just unscented lotion because nothing I use has ever worked because they're all so strongly scented, and I'm like, I just can't. So I stick with just like the regular stuff. So that's another thing to consider. What kind of lotions are you using? How scented is it? Because your lotion it's supposed to moisturize your skin, so it's going to linger, it's going to stay on your skin for a good amount of time. So that can also be a trigger, which then leads me into skincare. I feel like for a while, most companies were making skincare that had all these scents, and especially with high-end skincare, they tend to be more fragrant. And I tend to stay away because, again, for the same reason, there are a few things that I have tried that I have been able to use and that I actually like. It really is a trial and error, but that is also another thing to consider. I think that's kind of like a hard one because a lot of these stuff that's been supposed to be really good for your skin, it's like, oh, but I can't use it because of this. And I know like there's probably not a huge market for people like us, but then again, we don't talk about this so much, so there could be more people that really are affected by this and they just don't know it. And I feel like some companies have kind of caught on to, there are some people who don't like superly, is that even a word? But super scented skincare products. So watch your skincare, figure out what is possibly too strong that you are just putting directly on your face, directly by your nostrils, and you're just soaking it all up. And not only is it our skincare, but it's also makeup. I feel like makeup though is a little bit safer because most of them are unscented, but when you look at brands like Too Faced, who make the chocolate bar palette, the coconut collection, the peach collection, they're all scented makeup. And why, but why do we need scented makeup? I get, yeah, it's cute. Oh, peaches. Smells like peaches. It's great. But why do we need that? Why? Look at your makeup. Perhaps, I doubt there's much makeup products out there that you would have to get rid of, but if you are a makeup junkie, makeup lover, that isn't something else to consider, is stay away from the scented makeup. I know I'm talking so much, so we're gonna wrap this up. As I mentioned earlier, candles are another thing to consider. I've said it in my very first original video, candles, because they're so scented. I have some candles. I don't even know if you can see, I have a pink one right over here. I literally just have it because it's so pretty and I don't even burn it. I just let it sit there on my shelf because it's pretty. That's the only thing I can do with the candle. And lastly, the last thing I have here in my notes is something that I don't know if anybody really has considered this one, but I have definitely noticed. It is a harder one to stay away from because I have the biggest sweet tooth, and honestly, sweet foods and drinks can be the cause of your scent sensitivity. Sometimes if I smell like a nice pastry that's like just baking and that aroma, it smells great, but if it's too sweet, we're done. We're done. So look at extra sweet foods, extra sweet drinks. If I eat something too sweet, if I drink something too sweet, I get a headache. Now, that could potentially be something else, but I do notice sometimes if I have something that's too sweet, it can trigger my headache. So I have to really consider what I'm going to eat. I mean, like, who can turn away a treat? I love treats. Like, I love pastries, and I like a nice drink sometimes, but I tend to just stick to my water, as I have here. I stick to just drinking water, especially if I'm eating something really sweet. I gotta keep the water. I usually like sweet and salty. I know food is kind of like but it is something to consider. So guys, that is my list of things to consider around your home, around your makeup, your skincare, your cleaning supplies, your hand washes, your sanitizer, all these, anything that somehow fragrance or gives out a fragrance or gives out a scent. Those are all things to consider. But there might be other things that I'm not even thinking of right now. But anything that has a scent, you need to consider what you're using, how much of it, and if it's triggering it. Because there may be some of you who have like a mild sensitivity where only maybe like one category is something to consider. It might be all the categories. Like, it just really is up to you and what your body tells you. So listen to your body. If you are feeling, you know, everything that I explained earlier, look at all these different things that I just spoke about and see what actually is possibly causing your headaches. I know I keep saying headaches because that is like the main thing for me that happens is my headache and the grogginess. But there may be other things, other symptoms that you guys experience. So let's do this. Why don't you guys tell me in the comments what your symptoms are that you feel you get from the scent sensitivity. I know the major one is headaches. That's the main thing for me. So that is what I'm going to put out there is I get super massive headaches. My sinus is really bad. So tell me in the comment below what your symptoms are. Maybe we can talk about that later on if you guys want to share that with me. We can kind of make another video possibly of like what people experience. So then that way more of you can know, okay, I did feel this, like I felt a headache, or I didn't feel a headache, or I felt this, or I felt that. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, so I'm going to end this video here, and I hope that the things that I shared today was or is going to be helpful for you in trying to determine what triggers your sensitivity to scents. And next time we'll talk about, you know, what helps, and I may just do one more video to incorporate what helps in my recommendations. I'm going to film that right after this one so it stays kind of like unison. But yeah, I hope today's video was helpful for you. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you to all those who have shared in the comments previously in my first video who prompted me to make this other video. And welcome to all my new subscribers. I am so excited that you're here, and if you joined because of my first video, I really appreciate, or even this video, I really appreciate that. Welcome to the fam. So thank you all for watching today, and until next time, I